Hi, have you ever felt that dealing with people, usually you don't know how to set boundaries, or you feel that when you go through or when you want to start a relationship, usually you are not able to really set your boundaries straight, or you don't have a clear idea on how does it look like to set boundaries and why is it important to set boundaries in your life. First of all, let me tell you, my name is Ali Hasbini, and I love to serve people in the best way possible. And one of the things that I have been recently discussing with my friends is the idea of setting boundaries and how is it important, or how important it is to set boundaries, and why is it that people always, or why is it that we always say here that we have to set boundaries? What does it mean to set boundaries? First of all, the word no is such an important word that I would like you to really emphasize in your life. When we say no, that means we are saying yes to ourselves. When we say no to something that we do not resonate with, when we say no to something that does not sit well with us, then we are saying yes to us. A lot of us, and me included, including me, and I'm for the longest time ever, as a people pleaser, as somebody that loves to be around people, as someone that loves to help people out, as someone that is always looking for ways to engage with others, and so on and so forth. Going through life, I had lost how I would show up as myself, because most of the times I wasn't, if not all of the times, I was not able to say no. I was not able to say no to the things that are important to me, which means that if somebody asks me something and I feel it in my gut that I do not want to do that, or I cannot do that, or I cannot be in that situation, if I do not say no, I do not appreciate that, or no, I do not like the way you treat me, or no, I do not want to have this in my life, what I'm really saying is what you bring over to me is a lot, or what you think of me is a lot better than what I think of myself. And I cannot say no, that means I cannot say yes to myself. The moment you learn how to say no is the moment you start showing up as you are. Now, most of us, including myself, I used to be afraid of saying no because I didn't want people, or I thought that people would not like me or will judge me for who I am. And that's a tough one. It's a tough one, because you want to go through life with all these situations taking place in your life, and you want to be able to be loved, or you want to feel loved by other people. You want to feel appreciated by other people. Who doesn't? I love to be loved by people. I love to see other people's love come into my life, and I invite it every day. And there's a special way to see that love. You can't see love from others by not loving yourself in the first place. When you love yourself more than anybody else, everybody else would love you for the right reasons. And how do you do that? One way is by being able, having the courage, being capable of saying, no, I do not like that. You see, what you're saying is, no, I do not like that because I like that. And when people understand what your boundaries are, or what do you like and what you don't like. So you have to communicate basically, what is it you like, what is it you don't like, and what is it you like to invite into your life, what is it you don't want into your life. Now it goes through 3 simple stages. And if anybody wants to have that, if you want to have a metric whereby you would be able to identify what are your boundaries, what are the types of boundaries you can have, and how you can actually have a healthy relationship with the other person, what you would have to do, or what you would look at, is going through these 3 simple stages. There are 3 things that you would identify in your life as your boundaries, or as it goes something like this. 1, it's your non-negotiables. Whatever happens, whatever goes on, it's a hard no. No matter how much they can convince you, or no matter what they try to give you explanations or anything, For you, that's a hard no. That's across your values. It does not relate to your values whatsoever. You're not really interested in it whatsoever. And no matter what comes out of it, you would have the courage to say no. This is a non-negotiable. A non-negotiable is a part of you that is in touch with your values, that in touch with your personality, with your self-esteem, with your confidence. All of these things are in your non-negotiable. So basically, if you have a non-negotiable, if something is like, I do not want somebody to call me, I do not want a friend or somebody to call me after 10 o'clock. That's a non-negotiable for me. I don't care what's happening. And this is just an example, guys. This is not, I don't care if whatever is going on, it's a non-negotiable for you to do that after this or at that time. That's a non-negotiable. When you see that and you realize these are your non-negotiables, you write them down. This is something I do not tolerate whatsoever. It's a hard no. And again, when you say no, you're saying yes to you. Now, this is the first part. This is the first, these are the red flags. These are the things that you would call, what are your red flags? These are your red flags. So in retrospect, you have to identify your red flags. You have to really know what your red flags and be confident enough and be safe enough in your own place to say no, no matter what happens. Now, this is the first step, and the non-negotiables are literally drawing your character. And you have to be okay with who comes out of that other side. You see, a lot of people pleasers, they say yes to a lot of things they actually want to say no to, but because they feel that they have to say yes, because they want that love, they want that attention, or all of that, they would go ahead and start saying yes to other people and no to themselves. You have to turn it around, say no to other people and yes to you. If that sounds selfish, then it is. It's not a big deal. You have to be selfish when it comes to setting your boundaries. It's healthy. It's something that you have to take care of yourself. Being selfish is not being, it's not the word, he's selfish. No, he's selfish or she's selfish. No. Yes, I proclaim it. I am selfish when it comes to my own energy, when it comes to my own feeling, when it comes to my own well-being. I am selfish. I take care of myself. And this is why I set my boundaries in a healthy relationship. So whoever shows up and knows, or I can clearly communicate my non-negotiables to, will know and love me for who I truly am. Now, this is the first one, which is the non-negotiables. So they go in 3 steps. 1 is non-negotiable. 2, which we just spoke about, but non-negotiables. 2 is the negotiables. Now, what does a negotiable look like? Well, negotiable is a no, but, or it's a no, and if you can prove me otherwise, or if you can convince me otherwise, that it is something good for me, it is something within my interest and the interest of the situation and the interest of the well-being of other people, then it could be a yes, or I could compromise with it. So a non-negotiable starts with a no, and maybe I could look at other options, or no, and I would be open to suggestions. No, and yes, you might be right. And you could still say, well, no, this is a hard no. You can actually take it from a you can take it from a negotiable to a non-negotiable altogether. It doesn't mean that it stays in a non-negotiable. A non-negotiable, or a negotiable, would be something that you are open to change or to alter or to sacrifice in, if it means a better outcome is there for you and the other person that you are in. And this is a bit tricky, but you will pick it up as you go along. So first of all, you have your non-negotiables. And I did spend more time on the non-negotiables because that's the first one and that's the most important one. Because once you start putting your non-negotiables and then you go to your negotiables, these are very much related to each other. Now, these are things that you need to communicate, or you would have to communicate to your friend as you go along, having the courage in different situations to be able to see that this is a non-negotiable, this is a negotiable, and the last one is what I would like to have, or the good to have. And what is a good to have is basically when you're able to tell the other person what you would like to see from them to you, or what would you love to have be present in your life, and be okay with that. Be able to express what you would love to have in your life. I would love to have a friend that would pick up my phone at 10 o'clock at night. I know I just said that it's a non-negotiable, but I would probably love to to have a friend that would pick up my phone any time of the day. And that's a good to have. That's something I would like to have in my life. Now, once you start looking at that, so three things, three stages: non-negotiable, negotiable, and what I want or what I would like to have or a good to have in my life. When you look at these three steps and you're clear on your non-negotiables, clear on your negotiables, and clear on what you would like to have, then you would be able to run that filter through every situation that comes out in your life, in your relationships with others, in your relationship with work, in your relationship with your coworkers, in your relationship with your family, in your relationship with your loved ones, everybody. You have to look at these things in a way that, well, is this a non-negotiable? Does the other person know that this is a non-negotiable? You can't really say it's a non-negotiable and expect the other person to know that this is a non-negotiable. If it's a non-negotiable, have the courage, have the clarity to say, I'm sorry, I do not accept this no matter what. If it's a negotiable, say, well, listen, I do not enjoy this usually. But what do you mean about that? What is your idea about that? And if it's good to have, you could go to a good to have, that would be nice. Or it could go back to a non-negotiable again. So the negotiables are where your things that you were probably uncertain of, a bit certain of, but you're just taking your precautions. But they're good. They are there to give you a leeway, whether it's a non-negotiable or a good to have at a later stage. And this is how they will alternate, or this is how they will alternate. Now, the good to have is what you would want to really tell the other person. This is what I would like you to show up in. And if you are able, and if you see someone showing up in your life that fits your good to have, then these are the right people. And these are the kind of people, not the right people. These are the kind of people that you want to have in your life, because they have more of your good to have, and they understand your non-negotiables. They're okay with your non-negotiables, and they can actually compromise with you on your negotiables in the same level. And then they're good to have, or what you would like to show up in your life would be available for you. Three simple stages, guys. I learned them, and I'm preaching. I'm not. Well, I guess I'm preaching, but what I'm saying is, when you want to really show up for yourself, you have to be able to set boundaries on how other people perceive you, get you, deal with you. 90% of the people, 99, if not, I was one of those people. And I always go back to the idea: givers will give, takers will take. It's your responsibility to be able to give what you feel comfortable in giving. Because chances are, if you're going to be giving more than you can, the takers will not give a damn about how much you're giving, and it will not be something that you're going to enjoy. It will be something burning you out. It will be something looking like a burnout. It will be something looking like an unresolved relationship. It will be something looking like a toxic relationship. It will show up in so many ways. The best way, or one of the easiest ways to really look at how to set boundaries, guys, is to go through these three, or how to communicate your boundaries is to go through these three steps. What are your non-negotiables? What are your negotiables? And what are your good to haves? Once you're able to identify these three steps, and you're able to actually talk about them and tell them clearly, you will start seeing the right people show up in your life, because now you know what you don't want, and no matter what happens, you don't want it. Now, these are the things that your non-negotiables, you will always be able to kind of play around and understand bit by bit as you go along. And then what you would like to have could also turn out to be a negotiable or a non-negotiable at some point in time if it hurts you. But take them through these three steps and filter them through these three ways. And I wish you all the best in what you set and how you set your boundaries going from here. I hope this really helps. I made it with real blessed intention to share this with you and to provide you with a simple metric that could help you, or that would help you in setting your boundaries, creating healthy relationships, showing up for yourself as the unique being and special being you are. Thank you and have a great day.